Hi, I'm Thijs, I'm the Technical Evangelist at Varnish Software, and welcome to a new episode of VMOD in the Spotlight. In today's video, we'll be highlighting the Format VMOD, which is a Varnish module that can create formatted strings. This makes string building and string templating a whole lot easier. And it takes away the need to create these really long, really ugly, hard to read concatenated strings. Now, if this doesn't make sense yet, I will show you a typical problem that the Format VMOD can solve for you. The VCL example code that you're currently seeing hooks into sub VCL deliver, which is a hook that is run in the execution stage right before the response is returned back to the client that requested it. Our aim is to add a custom response header that contains debug information. In this case, it's called xdebug, and it contains the state of the cache, which is either hit or miss for this request, the number of hits this object received in the cache, the remaining TTL, the grace value, and the keep value. And the output is the following. You can see that in this case, the object that we received was hit from cache and it was hit twice. It remains in cache for another 8.18 seconds, more or less, before it expires. And there's a grace value of 10 seconds and a keep value of 0 seconds. Now, in order to create that string, a lot is going on. And it can get real ugly, real difficult, real quickly. Because we have to start by opening up the string. Then we add the string value. If we want to interpolate a variable or concatenate another string, we need to close the string, use the concatenation sign, which is plus in this case, and then add the value. In this case, we're interpolating a variable called resp HTTP status, which then contains hit or miss. But if we want to continue, we need to use the concatenation sign again, reopen the string, and continue onwards and onwards and onwards. So what if I told you we can go from this syntax to this syntax? And what you're seeing now are formatted strings. It's just one big string, and there's placeholders in place that mark the locations where the variables need to be interpolated. They're prefixed by a percentage sign, and they contain a symbol that refers to their data type. In this case, it's all %s, which implies all of these values are strings. And in this case, resp HTTP status, object.hits, object.ttl, object.grace, and object.keep can be interpolated. Now the question is, how do you achieve this? How do you do this? We know what a formatted string is. How do we get the values in? Well, the next VCL example shows you how. And allow me to walk you through it. The first step is to use the import statement to import the format VMOD. Next up, we have to set the formatted string. We use the format.set function and we add the formatted string as an argument. The next step is to add, or inject rather, all the values that need to be put in the respective placeholders. Order of definition is really important. So the cache status is the first one, hits the next, then we have TTL, grace, and keep, and the strings need to be added in that order. And finally, if we want to receive the formatted string with all the templated values, we need to call format.get, and the output is a string which can be assigned, in this case, to the xdebug header. And as you see, the output is the same. Behind the scenes, the Format VMOD leverages the printf function from the C programming language. This function does all the heavy lifting, but supports a lot more than simple strings. It supports numerical data types and others as well, and these capabilities are also reflected in the API of VMOD format. And as you can see in the next example, we're doing more than just adding strings. You can see that the hits value and the time value are numerical. Hits is an integer, and time is represented in a floating point notation. Hence the need to do format.addInt and format.addFloat to add the respective integer and float value. There's yet another feature that I want to highlight. In all the examples so far, we used format.set to set up the formatted string, and then used addString, addInt, addFloat to inject the values. And then in the end, we needed to use format.get to get the value. There's a quicker way around this. What if we can turn this example into this? So what you're seeing here is a one-liner. We have a quick access to formatted strings by using format.quick. The first argument is the formatted string with the placeholders, and then all the other arguments are the positional elements. It's, in this case, resp.http.status, which is a string, object.hits, which is casted as a string, object.ttl, object.grace, object.keep, and so on and so forth. So it's a really quick one-liner to get it done. So that was that. That was another VMOD in the spotlight, in this case the formatting VMOD. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll be back next month with yet another VMOD in the spotlight. Thank you, see you next month.